What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's your boy Chris Style. I got the gang up in here. We about to talk about some things, man. Chiefs Kingdom got some Chiefs news to talk about. The Chiefs went to the White House. We're gonna get into that. Let's talk Chiefs.
Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chiefs podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Chris Style, out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 130. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody's ready to hear what we got to say today. Before we get into all that, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What up? What's good?
Y'all doing good, guys?
Yep,
Yeah.
doing good.
It's just another
Yeah.
day. I mean, new month. You know what it is? Another month closer to football season.
Yep.
Yeah. I just came back in town Sunday, want to give a shout out to my daughter Winter. She just graduated. Proud of you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Virginia's different, man. I just want to let y'all know.
I already know.
Virginia.
I already know.
Where I was at, it was different. It's a small town. There's nothing out there. It's bad. It's bad out there. You know,
He said it's
their idea of news is somebody stealing a TV from Walmart. Like, that's big news for them.
Dang. I was a witness one time, somebody riding out with a bike. That was my fun experience.
Like that's common in Kansas City and Las Vegas. Like,
that's just another day.
And we make news out of everything.
people steal TVs every day, B. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
So, yeah. But, other than that, I had a good time seeing my kids and seeing my daughter graduate. So it's all good, man. It's all good. All right, fellas. Now, this news is kind of sad, you know what I'm saying? Because it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't hear no reports about her being sick or anything wrong with her. She seemed pretty healthy for the Super Bowl and all this stuff. Unfortunately, Norma Hunt passed away. The owner and founder, the wife of the owner and founder of the Kansas City Chiefs. She's been to every Super Bowl. So she's been around since the beginning, but she's the wife of Lamar Hunt, the owner and founder. And we just want to give our deepest condolences and prayers to the Hunt family, to the organization as a whole, because it definitely was a loss. She was there through all the good and bad, and I'm just glad she got to see them win 2 Super Bowls before she had her untimely death. So, like I said, our deepest condolences to her and her family, and prayers to all of them. And you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, and a lot of stuff that she did was behind the scenes, so a lot of people don't know. But like a lot of the players talked about, what she did. I think Mahomes came out and said some things. So, yeah, just RIP, like you said, and prayers to the Hunt family.
Yeah, fortunately, she was able to witness him win a couple more and everything. That was something that, we used to kind of like joke around and everything, with Lamar Hunt and stuff like that. Say, man, this dude got a trophy and never going to win it. We'll go see that thing again. But for her to witness it, twice after her husband's passing and everything, that's actually a really cool thing to go out and see. And you don't hear the story about the owner's wife and stuff like that in the background. But normally, they're usually in the background, don't talk about her, and all that stuff. So for her, get ready for them decals and patches I'm expecting this year. So blessings and prayers out to the family and stuff like that, and of course to the rest of the Chiefs community.
Yeah, for sure. All right, fellas. Now, on Good Morning America, Peter Schrager had his little breakout players list. Now, I didn't agree with it, but, whatever. Here's his list: Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London, Tyquan Thornton, Justin Ross. Now, last time I checked, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, didn't they both have 1,000 yards last year?
Yeah, they were both in the rookie of the year candidate, so that's why I didn't put them on mine.
Garrett Wilson won the rookie of the year,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
And Olave was the runner-up.
Yeah. Actually, didn't put Olave on the list because they put Brock Purdy on there?
Oh yeah,
Because that's what I thought he had got snubbed for Brock. I was like, Brock Purdy played in the middle of the season.
he's
Like,
played like what, like 9 games?
I get it. He's on the San Francisco 49ers and he's taking them to the playoffs, and I get all that. But you can't leave Chris Olave after this. But I don't agree with, of course, I don't agree with the Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Drake London. Yeah, I could see that. He had a decent season, but I could see him breaking out a little bit more. Second year under the system, they'll probably give him the ball a little bit more. Tyquan Thornton. Now that the Patriots have a OC and Bill O'Brien has a real scheme over there on offense, I can see him getting better opportunities. Now, Justin Ross, the elephant in the room, Justin Ross, where everybody has their opinions on Justin Ross, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Justin Ross is going to be the talk of the offseason until training camp gets here
Yep.
and gets here. Because everybody's going to talk. The Chiefs are hyping him up. Some fans are hyping him up because we know his freshman year of Clemson, he was special. He was special. His second year, he looked like he was about to have another great season. Then he had the spinal cord situation. He had to miss his third season in in Clemson. Came back his last year, and he had a broken foot. Plus, he's coming off the back surgery, so it was not looking good for Justin Ross to make it in the NFL. He ended up being an undrafted free agent to the Kansas City Chiefs, and people are still slightly out there. Some people that are optimistic. A lot of them are pessimistic towards Justin Ross. A lot of people don't think he's even going to make the roster. Right? They think he has an uphill battle of making the roster, especially with this receiver room being as crowded as it is. That's why when people were talking about, now look, I'm not saying don't get DeAndre Hopkins, but if DeAndre Hopkins was added to this receiving room, I don't see how Justin Ross was going to make the receiving room. He would have had to have an amazing training camp. I'm talking about
And preseason.
And he'd have to put up like $150 every preseason game. Like he would have to look amazing. So, but I don't agree with him being on this breakout list. So, I asked you guys to come out with your own breakout list, not just with Chief players, but with other teams too. I'm gonna start with you, Ty. What would be on your list of wide receivers? We're gonna just do wide receivers. Who's on your breakout list of wide receivers?
Yeah, so we'll start at number 5. I got Rashad Bateman with the Baltimore Ravens. I think them adding Odell Beckham takes a ton of pressure off him. And when he actually has been healthy, we've seen a good sample size of Rashad Bateman when he's healthy, and he's a baller. So I put Bateman at 5. He's heading into his third year this year. I think that'll, especially now with Lamar Jackson, hopefully he'll stay healthy this season. And then number 4, Christian Watson with the Packers. He started to break out last year towards the end of the season, but he really started off rough and was hard for him to even get on the field and get any targets. But I think this year, coming out the gate, he's going to be ready to go. We're having a full offseason to work with Jordan Love, who will actually be at OTAs, mini camps, training camps, and all that, unlike another quarterback I won't mention that was there last year. At number 3, I got Sky Moore, obviously for the Chiefs. I think this next year, I think he's the most complete receiver on this roster heading into the season. We got Kadarius Toney. He struggles to stay healthy. MVS is really a limited route runner, and then Sky Moore can he can do a little bit of everything. He can work over the middle of the field. He can play on the outside and get open. So I think he takes a huge leap this year in this offense. And then number 2, Drake London. Peter Schrager had him on the list too. I think this year, he's getting to work with Desmond Ritter. We'll get to see, how that is. Marcus Mariota clearly wasn't the answer there last year. And hopefully Atlanta will be able to get the ball in their playmakers' hands more this year because Kyle Pitts, Drake London probably should have had even more targets last year. And number one, Treylon Burks for Tennessee. He really kind of had a strong rookie season last year. He had some ups and downs though, but bad quarterback play really plagued his rookie year. Whether it was Ryan Tannehill getting hurt and then Malik Willis having to step in, and for whatever reason they threw the ball like maybe 20 times in 3 games with Malik Willis. So I expect Treylon Burks to take a huge leap this year, especially being who else are they going to throw the ball to in that offense other than the tight end that I would have on my breakout tight ends list.
Yeah, that's a good list. Good list. Go ahead, Mark.
Very similar. Kind of looking at everything. I don't remember. I don't know if I put it in particular order, but I guess I'll kind of look at it as I go. But I know we were talking about second and third, but I actually put Ayuk on there. I slipped him in at number 5. Is very as talented as the Niners is, and also I know they just picked up his 5th-year option, which is obviously going to get that payout. He still has room to where he can improve to where he is, whether it be the 49ers in the foreseeable future where he's going to be, but somewhere else where he could potentially be. He could be that guy. He's real shifty. He knows how to get up the field, knows how to get them yak yards. I want to see him be able to compete and take it up to another level. I mean, competing against somebody, you got Debo on the other side, and then of course you got McCaffrey. I mean, it's a full room already as it is with offensive talent. And then hopefully, they get some consistency at the quarterback. I mean, it seems like they got their guy with Purdy, but even that's a question mark. We don't know. It's like, with the kind of injury that he had. So we'll see how it is. That's why I got number 5 on the list. 4 was another one we had in common. Christian Watson. Like you said, he had that terrible break. He 10 seconds in the game, he has a wide open pass and drops it. However, I think the Packers going to be an interesting thing. I mean, people have him on different sides of the coin. He's with their quarterback situation is going to be great, could be bad. There was one game in particular where I saw, it just felt different, where I saw Jordan Love come in, and you kind of sensed his energy just felt a little bit different. I'm like, this team seemed a little bit more lively. It just didn't seem like that. And you're talking about chemistry and how important that is, with the OTAs and getting all that with the quarterback situation. But Watson did have there was like a streak where he started getting hot all of a sudden. We started to figure each other out, and he started to go off and put some good numbers. I expect him to take the leap. He should have 1,000 yards. I think he'll be that guy that that in the receiver room. Granted, it's only his 2nd year. He's still got room to grow to where he can just be that guy for the Green Bay Packers, and also with that combination of Jordan Love. I mean, I got great things. Anticipating great things out of him. Number 3 is I'm looking down the list. Oh, I lost my list. This is what happens when you don't write things down on the side you're supposed to. Do something about that. Where to go? Sky Moore. There we go. Sky Moore's it's crazy behind him. He's obviously us being Chiefs fans, we're gonna pay a lot more attention to the detail. He had a little bit of hard time getting going, trying to find his place in the beginning. Punt return, all that, and it whatnot. Typical rookie stuff. Sometimes just come out the gate and boom, it happens. Yeah, a few miscues. But toward the midpoint, all the way toward the end, he started to find his place on the team as far as how he can contribute. I think even with Hardman leaving, I think that's going to open up more. Obviously, going to open up more playing time, but also I think it's going to create some things for Andy Reid to how to dial up some plays for him. For him to get that touchdown in the Super Bowl, I think that's going to really boost his confidence into where he needs to go and how he's going to produce. I think he's going to be one of those guys. And what's crazy about it is we were talking about, number 1 receivers and everything. This could be one of those balanced years as far as receiver yards, period, across the board. So it could be very interesting. Who's to say that this person has 800 and this person has 400? It might be like one of those consistent things we see a lot of 7s across the board.
Yeah.
Possibly could happen. So that's why I got more number 3. Drake London, man, I watched the Falcons a couple of times. Where I'm like, what is this team doing? And then the first time I actually really watched them, and it was a typical miscue. He was like, they were deep in the red zone. He had made the play and just doing typical receiver stuff, trying to get the touchdown, but then he fumbled the ball. Typical miscues. It happens, to learn, to grow. At offense as a whole, as far as what I saw with the head coach, and he's got a lot of potential there. this year and all this stuff. I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Drake London produces. I think he will take a step up. Definitely think he's going to be that guy to where he can have maybe about a good 800 or so. So we'll see how that goes. You got a consistent quarterback now with Ritter, so it's kind of like starting over, but at the same time, that might be the very thing that receivers need as far as getting a fresh head start. I mean, it's notable in a couple of key receivers, so who's to say could happen to him too. Obviously, number one, Traylon Burks. Man, that dude can be a headache if you actually watch
Yep.
how he plays, how he comes off the ball, and all that stuff. He's got a lot of potential. He's definitely that guy down in Tennessee. I mean, it's basically by default. I mean, you had
Yep.
the expectation of being able to roll things over. Obviously, didn't pan out that way, and having to step up and mature to be that guy that quickly, it could be a challenge. I remember one game he had played, he had took a crazy hit. I didn't think he was going to come back the rest of the season, but
He still caught the ball too.
yeah, he did. He's tough as nails. I mean, it's hard to find those kind of receivers. I think he's going to be one of those guys where you definitely have to keep an eye on. I don't know. It's just like he's got a ways to go, but I think he will be one of those dark horses that not enough people talk about. He's earned the respect for me, maybe around the league as opposed to average Joe Blow Schmo that don't know nothing about football and everything. They'll get to know his name.
Yep.
Even to contribute to Schrager's list, I wouldn't put him on the Justin Ross situation. I didn't put him on that list, but he's a dark horse for me.
Yeah.
More so because he's got a lot to prove. Personally, I don't think D Hop is even going to look toward the Chiefs. I mean, he's probably looked at it, but I think with some of the moves that he's made, as far as like getting an agent and all that stuff, granted, he can't rule things out. I just think it's a dark horse, realistically, looking at that until that's part of the smoke clears up. So that's just where I stand with that situation.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my list. Actually made one change before the show, so actually two changes. But number one on my list is I got to go with Scott Moore. We saw the flashes last year. He didn't get the opportunities that we thought he was going to get a little bit more opportunities, but the learning curve, in Andy Reid's offense is hard. He runs a complex scheme because he wants every receiver to learn every position every wide receiver position out there because he wants to keep the offense versatile. You don't want, you the one, you the two, you the three. It's like he wants to be able to interchange them in and out. So it was a little learning curve coming from Western Michigan, then going to Kansas City Chiefs. That's like moving from Kansas City to New York. Like that's it's a whole culture shock right there. So my next on my list, Romeo Dobbs, the other receiver of the Packers. Now he actually looked good in the beginning of the season while Christian Watson was struggling. But then he got hurt and he came back later in the season. Took him a little bit of time to get back in the flow. But I expect him, second year with, like Ty said, a quarterback is going to be there in the OTAs, minicamp.
Exactly. I mean, that's important, especially when you're a young receiver.
And you got to look at it like this: is that when Aaron Rodgers was gone, who was the quarterback that was training with them? Jordan Love. So he's already got chemistry with these guys. And you saw it in the Buffalo game. At the end of that game, when he came in, he looks like he's got chemistry with these guys. And I think it was another game. I forgot the other game. I think it was Tennessee or something like that. But he came in the end of the game of that game, and he had chemistry. He looked like a whole different quarterback. So he looks like he has chemistry
Confidence
with both.
too.
Yeah, confidence and chemistry with both of these receivers. So I'm gonna put Romeo Dobbs on there. My third receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson with the New York Giants. They do not have they really don't have a number one receiver down there. That's why I'm surprised they're not in on the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes because they really need DeAndre Hopkins if any team needs him.
Yeah.
But Wan'Dale Robinson, when he's in the lineup, he looks actually pretty good. It's just his problem, he can't stay healthy. He's kind of got the Kadarius Toney thing going.
And he's a very similar player to Kadarius Toney too.
That's why everybody was kind of surprised when they drafted Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson because they like the same type of player.
Yeah.
So I got Wan'Dale Robinson with him getting more opportunities in this offense, and some guys leaving. So I think Wandale Robinson. My other receiver, Terrence Marshall Jr. of the Carolina Panthers. I think that in Frank Wright's offense, I think they're going to utilize him more. I think he's going to be at least fighting for the second, the third, maybe even the first, number one receiver snaps now that DJ Moore is gone.
Yep.
So it's going to be a camp battle for who's going to be the number one guy over there. So definitely Terrence Marshall Jr. could break out and be a top tier receiver. And my last receiver, this guy showed flashes too. And now with EB over there, Jahan Dotson. He is a guy who came, he looked good last year in games. He was a touchdown machine. I know that. He always is in the end zone, but he also had injury issues too. If he could stay healthy in this EB offense, I think Jahan Dotson will have a breakout season. So that's my list, fellas.
Yeah, I like your list. I really like you throwing Dotson on there because I can't believe I didn't throw him on my list because Jahan Dotson was a beast last year. And then now you're talking about getting more, scheme there with the offensive coordinator. And then the quarterback situation. I think Jacoby Brissett ends up winning that job. I know they're talking about Sam Howell, but I think at some point Brissett will be playing quarterback, which he had a good season last year. So.
Yeah,
Jacoby's
got a nice squad over there. It's like I don't know how I missed that myself. It's like they got talent. They got a young receiving core. They got the backs too. They got.
I mean that's always been Washington. Washington has always had they always got the receivers. They got running backs. The offensive line is decent.
The defensive line.
Defensive line is crazy. The secondary had some guys over there too. So it's not the fact that they deprived of talent. It's just that they don't have a consistent quarterback.
Yeah,
Taylor Heineke, he was so up and down. You know what I'm saying? He was Alex Smith diet. Like he was diet Alex Smith. Like, that's exactly what Taylor Heineke is. He is diet Alex Smith. That's what he is. So, and he had some good games and he kept the ship going, but he just couldn't get you over that hump.
Yeah.
And that's what Washington needs. They need a quarterback that can get them over the hump. And I'm surprised they didn't draft one or move up and go get like an Anthony Richardson or, one of these guys, or even maybe sit and wait for Hendon Hooker to get, fall to their lap and pick him up. And maybe
that would have been a good pick right there.
Let him sit for a year. I know he's an older, quarterback, but let him sit for a year. And then next year you off and running. So, but yeah, I think Jahan Dotson is definitely going to have a good season this year. But going back to the Chiefs, Sky Moore. I just think that this is the year that Sky Moore will prove to everybody that he deservingly is a second round pick. You know what I'm saying? And he was highly talented. Does not act like he was just some Kansas City Chief hype. No. There were other people, scouts, the Daniel Jeremiah's, the Bucky Brooks, Steve Smiths. Those guys were hyping Sky Moore up like he was the top receiver in this draft. Like, I don't know if this guy he runs.
Yeah, they said he had the potential to be. Yeah.
He said his hands are official. He's just the smallest guy. We as Chief Kingdom, they like 6'4" and runs a 4.3 speed. They want Calvin Johnson. That's what they want.
Yeah. And you just don't find it. They don't grow on trees. That's rare.
Yeah. And even so, to add on to that and everything, I mean, Tyreek Hill was nothing like that in his first year either. So you got to give it a break. I mean, maybe that might have been the things that need to work for. I mean, everything works differently for different receivers and all that stuff and how that converts. I mean, Tyreek Hill, maybe that's what he needed was to kind of ease in as a return specialist, and then they kind of get the feel for the game that way, and then they found out how to use them. I mean, it could be something similar here. I mean, technically, we're just looking at them as a receiver, and then they ease them in with special teams, and then you start to break out. It could be the same situation.
Well, the problem with Sky Moore, the problem is that what soured people on the Sky Moore body types is McCole Hardman, because everybody thought McCole Hardman was going to be the replacement for Tyreek Hill, or he was going to be something similar to Tyreek Hill. But if you watch, they're not even the same.
Because even coming out of college, nobody was talking about McCole Hardman like they were. All he had was speed. Not a knock on him because he has elite speed, but his route running was definitely nowhere near Sky Moore's.
Because let's be honest, if Tyreek Hill didn't have the situation that went down to Oklahoma State, and he had to go to Western Alabama, he would have been a first round pick.
Yeah, he would.
He would have been a first round pick out the gate if he didn't
Mhm.
have this. If he didn't have the domestic violence situation happen. So you know, and even he had to learn how to play receiver because he was a running back converting to wide receiver,
Yep.
and let's say that Tyreek Hill didn't have good work because it took him to have good work ethic for him to go transition to being a elite wide receiver. If he was just rested on his speed and just said, "Hey, I'm just a fast guy. I'm gonna run past everybody." Well, after a while, people are going to figure out how to defend you. Too high
Yep.
safety, and if he couldn't run routes, he wouldn't know how to beat that. So it took some time for Tyreek Hill to learn. You know what I'm saying? And some players learn at different speeds. Some
Yep.
guys are Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase who can just go
Which
out
is
there,
rare.
yeah, who can get
Which
on the
is
field
rare.
instantly and just ball out. And then some guys just take some time. Devontae Adams is a perfect example of
Mhm.
this. We act like Devontae Adams was just instant. Oh, Devontae Adams was not instant when he came.
It took him a couple years.
It took him like 3 seasons
Yeah.
to become Devontae Adams that we know right now. Like he was dropping passes and he wasn't getting that separation that he gets now. Like, yeah, it was they was looking at Devontae Adams sideways for a minute there. Like,
Yeah, they were.
I don't know about this guy, but he kept working and worked hard, and now he's probably the top receiver, if at least top 3 receiver in the league right now. So
He's top of my list.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
have him top 3. I would probably put Jefferson number 1 still,
Yeah,
but
just Justin Jefferson is special, man. He's special, man.
he
He is. He's just special.
is. Yeah,
He's
I
special.
still can't believe people took Jalen Rager over him.
Yeah, I know, right? I think Justin Jefferson is where Odell Beckham was going to be.
Yeah.
Yep. Before injuries,
Yeah,
and what's
for the injuries.
and Kirk Cousins is better than what Eli Manning was at that point in his career.
True. Yeah, before the injuries, I just think Justin Jefferson he has the same type of skill set as Odell Beckham
Yep.
when he was in his prime. Yeah, that's what that's what his game reminds me of. Jamar Chase reminds me of Marvin Harrison. That's what he reminds me of. A little bit bigger frame, but he reminds me of Marvin Harrison, especially how he runs his route. Now he's the push off king.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He is.
He's the push off king, but who
He
are
gets
some
away with it.
who are some other chief players that you guys are looking at as a breakout season this year?
I know. I'm trying to think.
I still think there's another level to Pacheco. I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah, that's one of those guys that just sits there like it's just him. He had half a season. Let's just be real. He had a very productive 800. Easily could have been 1,000 had he had a full season. Obviously, they had to figure out some kind of balance and stuff like that. That's why working with him and McKinnon. But I think there's another level to him that we have yet to see. We know he runs angrily down the field. That dude just has an aggressive, almost like a. I don't like using that comparison, but he's just a smaller Adrian Peterson. He's just an aggressive runner. It's just a freight train coming through.
Yeah,
But I just think there's another level with him specifically that I'm looking at as far as an offensive wise. If you want to talk about defense, Karlaftis is actually my wild card on that side. Granted, he had that streak where he was starting to get going, but I just think there's more to him than we know. I mean, it could be part of the reason why some things have not come to fruition. What we predicting, what we're hoping. But obviously, he's getting work done with Holly, who are one of the greatest in the Chiefs uniform to do it. So he's going to be a very interesting piece on that team and how that thing runs this year.
Yeah. And for the defensive side, I got a defensive tackle. I'm gonna go with Turk Wharton because before he got hurt last year, he was really showing out. It might take him a little bit time because obviously coming off an injury, and it was a pretty major injury because I think he got hurt early in the season, missed the whole year. So obviously it might take him a little bit of time. Yeah, this second week. Yeah, so it'll take him a little bit of time to get going, but I think he has a breakout year to where people outside of Kansas City will start to, realize who he is because let's be honest, when he's not a household name when we bring him up to other teams' fans, they don't know who he is. And on the offensive side, I got to agree with DJ Ant. I think Pacheco, like he said, he has another level to his game. I think maybe the Chiefs will throw him the ball a little bit more. Maybe we could see him catching the ball out the backfield, because in the limited chances we did get to see him do that, he did pretty well. So I want to see that more this year, and I just want to see him run the ball more this year, more consistently, because they get away with it. They get away from it, like Chris said. A lot of times it's like second and third quarter they get completely away from the running game. So I expect, hopefully this year, that doesn't happen as often.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are some good picks right there. On offense, I guess I'll go with Kadarius Tony, man. I just think that if this kid can just give us 14 games this year, just give us 14
He can
games.
get 1,000 yards.
I think he could be special, man. I just see it. You see the trade, you see the potential in him. We talk about the potential with Scott Moore. You see the superstar potential with Kadarius Tony.
Yep.
Like, that dude can be special in this offense, and Andy Reid could use him as a chess piece, like almost similar. He's not
Not
Tyreek Hill.
exactly the same, yeah,
He's
but
not Tyreek Hill, but he could use him in the simplest way as a chess piece in this offense. If he could just stay healthy, that's the biggest question mark on Kadarius Toney, is staying healthy. It's not his consistency, because when he's on the field, he's a matchup nightmare. He
yep.
really is. He really
And
is.
his ability to, like Tyreek Hill, this is another thing he's similar that I feel like don't get talked about enough. Like when he jump up in the air and to be able to adjust midair to catch a ball, Kadarius Toney is really good at doing that too. Tyreek Hill, we obviously know, is great at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And on defense, uh, I guess I'm gonna go with Trent McDuffie, man. Like, I just think he's gonna break out as one of the top corners in this league. Like
Yep.
last year, he was, the top corner on the Chiefs. I think this year he's gonna be top corner in the NFL, where people are gonna be actually talking about Trent
Top
McDuffie.
five.
Yeah, they're gonna be talking about him, and I think he's gonna finally get some takeaways this year. Intercepted the ball, because he has some balls that hit him in his hands. They just drop.
Right. Yeah, at least
So,
two.
yeah, he had at least 2 interceptions he could have had. And they probably would have talked about him a little bit more if he had caught those picks. But I think this year, now that everything's going to be more slowed down, he'll be fine.
And he got hurt week 1 last year, so that definitely kind of stunted his growth for last season a little bit. Even though it didn't seem like it, I mean, that definitely affects that a little bit.
I think yeah, he was out for like 3 or 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And then also, when he was, I think him having to cover like AJ Brown on the biggest stage. AJ Brown, he got the best of him on one of those plays, but I think he'll learn from that. I ended up seeing that list that Chris was talking about, where they disrespected. I don't know. I can't even find a strong enough word, where they had Snead down at 26, and they had
26.
and they had, and they had McDuffie around 16, somewhere around there.
I think they made that list based off name, because how are you going to put Jalen Ramsey number 2 after the season that he had last year, where he was getting torched by everybody? I mean, everybody, week in and week out, he was getting torched. How do you go put him number 2?
I would say with some of these lists that have been putting out there, especially on the defensive side, it's been absolutely ridiculous. They're only looking at name and they're only looking at team. That's all that they're doing. Well, talking about, they've only done 10 points a game and all this other stuff. Well, I'm considering who have they played as far as with that competition. Who is like, what part of the season did they play them in? All that. They just considering, as far as with the body of work, as far as like who is. I mean, look at that in the NFC West, as far as the only opponent they really had, and really wasn't an opponent, was Seattle. That was it. Yep. For the 49ers, for some of their players to be on the list. I'm like, they ain't play nobody really. The Cardinals were trash, and the Rams, everybody was hurt. No. So I was like, before y'all come up with these lists, y'all need to consider who they're playing too. And even so, that goes back to we're kind of sidebarring a little bit, the linebackers list. I'm like, dude, are y'all serious?
That list was a joke too.
You can't have Nick Bolton on the list. Like, how is Nick Bolton not on?
You're gonna put TJ Edwards at number 10. TJ Edwards is not. I wouldn't even put him top 15 after the season he had last year.
And even so, arguably, I'm not sure. Actually, no, I know they played, but considering the stakes of that Jacksonville game, Bolton could have easily been at the top. But because Jacksonville had that last game, that kind of changed the whole thing. Not saying that the Chiefs didn't have to have their game too, but still, like, even so with Bolton, he proved to have been the most consistent. He's done everything you could ask for and more, and he was this close, arguably, to being the Super Bowl MVP. Yep. But one of them got called back, which was a questionable call.
I still think was a catch because he took 2 steps and turned upfield.
So these experts and analysts and all these other people throw your list in the trash. My goodness.
I think a lot of these lists get made just for like the discussion aspect of things. So when they make a terrible list like that, people will obviously start discussing it. It'll blow up, and then bam, they get their clout off of it. Basically,
I'm convinced they only do that for hits now. That's why I'm convinced. Clickbait. Yep. That's what I'm starting to get to the point at now.
Yeah,
that's what I think too.
Mark Clarence wanted me to tell you that you took Brandon Ayuk off his list. I just want to give you that PSA. Clarence wanted me to tell you that you see his comment in the group chat saying that you took Ayuk off his list. Clarence is still making his presence felt on the show.
No, it's all good. I understand. It's all good. I understand his perspective and everything, but that's just one of those kids that I'm just looking at. Say with Ayuk, though, it's like that was actually a talent. I kind of low key wanted on the Chiefs. So I actually did.
Yeah, I would have put Ayuk on my list, but he had 1,000 yards last year. I think he's heading into his 4th season. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think he could be even more special. I'm talking like 1,500-yard receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But in San Francisco, I don't know about that because, like what you said, DJ, they got Deebo Samuel. They got to get the ball to George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Obviously, the quarterback. I like the quarterbacks they got over there, even though it's still questionable who's even going to start. I think as long as Darnold's not starting week 1, they're good.
I think he is going to start. Unless there's
no way over Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance probably will start. He's been working with Patrick too. You know what I'm saying?
It's a hard team to stand out on as far as just dealing with that.
Yeah.
Ty told me, Ty. Clarence said, "Tell Ty Bayless to shut." He said, "Mark, come up with your own list."
But even so, it's like you're dealing with a bunch of question marks. You just don't quite know what you just don't quite know what you're going to get into. We got so many questions and stuff like that. That's why we had these predictable breakout lists, but you just don't know what you're going to get. You still got to consider how these quarterbacks are going to. I mean, that's one of the big things as far as with Green Bay that we're asking. How is this kid Jordan Love going to progress? I mean, I thought we saw spurts of it. Can it be consistent? We don't know. I like what I saw, but
I did too. But we didn't see much. We didn't see enough to make a real conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think this defense can rank? Do you think it could be a top 10 defense next year?
I'm gonna go one step above. I think this defense could be top 5.
And
I'm saying, and I mean that because if you look at the numbers, hold up. If you look at the numbers, the second half of the season last year, based off of analytics, the Chiefs were a top 5 defense down in that stretch. So, I mean, it's totally possible. Obviously, Spags defenses play better towards the end of the year. So them being top 5 is probably not going to happen all season. But I think by the end of the year, like that final stretch of the season, they'll be playing like a top 5 defense. Now, will they be top 5 statistically? Probably not, because you know how the Spags defense goes. The first 8 weeks is completely different from the last 9.
Yeah. I can see him top 10, at least top 10 to 12. I can see it.
Yeah, in that range.
Around that range. I think this is probably going to be the best defense in the Patrick Mahomes era that he's ever had. Yeah. So especially with these second year guys coming back with a little bit more experience under their belt, they won a Super Bowl in their first year, so they're going to be really motivated to come out the second year and be like, "Yo, let's do it again," because they're still young. Got these kids on a rookie contract, so you got ample years with these guys. And then Veach adds more with the Nick, what's his name, Nick Jackson or Nick Jones,
Nick Jones,
Shamari Connor, he's adding more.
Then he got Najee Johnson on the practice squad.
You got FAU, it's got potential to be good, and I think he's going to be the Justin Ross of this year, the BJ Thompson kid. I think they're going to stash him away.
Let him bulk up a little bit.
he's got an injury. They're gonna put him on practice squad and boom, or on IR and let him learn the defense. And then next year they're gonna unleash that guy.
I mean, the secondary they basically learned along the way. I mean, the fact that Spags was able to do that with that secondary group, just for able to get them to speed, and part of that, had contributed to schedule as well. That's one level that I appreciate. The second level, obviously, they bolstered that up with adding Tranquil to that list.
Yep.
That's going to be a problem. So
And then
even with
Willie Gay, Leo Chanel.
they're gonna force a lot of teams. It's like depending on how this offense produces to be one dimensional, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because you fall behind this Kansas City Chiefs team real quick, it's going to be hard to get right back in it. And so when you got to deal with those two groups, and then obviously the D line stuff like that, some questions to be had, but I think they'll be just fine when it's all said and done. Though.
Well, I think the defensive line they'll bring in a veteran. They'll bring back Frank Clark or maybe Carlos Dunlap comes back, or hey, even what's his name and Guakwe.
Yeah.
Because he said he doesn't care about the money this year. He got enough money. He wants.
And I actually believe
wants
him
it-
on
he wants
that
it.
because he still hasn't signed yet. So that's a
Yeah.
sign to me.
So maybe we could bring him in. You know what I'm saying? Because he definitely can get after the quarterback. So you get another veteran on that defensive line, defensive end, then you cooking with grease, man. Charles Aminu, who I feel like is going to have a breakout season candidate. He already had a really good season with the San Francisco 49ers. I think he could stack on that with the Chiefs with more opportunities and more time on the field. You got the Crondre Colburn kid. I think he's going to be he's going to be a big piece in the middle. And then, like I said, FAU, George Karlaftis, I think it's going to be a nice little youth rotation at DN guys coming in. Mike Dana is going to add on to the good season he had last year, going inside and out. So I think the defense has a potential to be, I think top 10 is realistic, but if top 5, then we win in the Super Bowl. We get a top 5 defense. If we got a top 5 D, we win in the Super Bowl again. And this offense is rolling like last year, and then maybe even better with the youth, at wide receiver and running back. Yeah, I think we a shoe in to win the Super
Bowl. And Spags said it the other day in his press conference that the secondary is light years ahead of where they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I think this defense has lots of potential. And this crazy part is we were second in sacks behind the Eagles.
Yeah.
So if this defense could duplicate that on the defensive line and maybe better, maybe be number 1 in sacks. Yeah,
if we get Ngakwe, we really could be number 1 in sacks.
Then it's gonna be nuts. Chris Jones he's coming back off of a great season. If he gets that payday, I'm not worried about Chris Jones, taking off now that he got paid because he got paid last time and he balled out. So I'm not worried about that. Like I said, you get a second year with George Karlaftis, who's going to have a little bit more understanding in the defense, and he's probably going to have a lot more moves. Not just not just
especially working out with
Holly and learning soaking up game from Frank Clark and Carlos Dunlap. Those guys. So. Yeah, I expect big things. And then FAU, man, I'm not sitting here saying he's going to have 12 sacks, but if he can give 5 to 6,
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Because that really replaces Frank's production from last year. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, George, I expect to have an uptick in production, probably 8 to 10 sacks for George this year, I would say.
Mm-hmm. If we can give Chris Jones to give us another, which I expect him to do, if he can give us 12 to 13, 14 sacks, and George gives us 10, FAU gives us 5 to 6, George, gives us 10, whatever, then yeah. This defensive line is going to be nasty, and we're going to be forcing a lot of quarterbacks throwing the football early. So,
and even so, I wouldn't rule out the possibility even to take off some of the pressure on the D line. We start to see a lot more blitzing coming from the secondary as well, too. We didn't see a lot of that in the very beginning for obvious reasons. But then, one of my concerns as far as how the safety position, how that was going to evolve and stuff and how that was going to unfold, you start to see Reed come along late. Getting involved with the in the blitz. It's like, will it be a run blitz or is it a clear pass blitz? If you start to see the involvement of that too, so it's
I
going to
think
be.
it's go- I think it's going to be a rotation of the secondary blitzing. You might see, of course, you're going to see Snead. He's the best in the business when it comes to blitzing in the nickel. Trent McDuffie did some of that. He had a few blitzes. You like you said, Justin Reed. I see Cook. Cook might
Yeah,
get some time where he'll blitz. If
Samari Connor.
Shamari Connor, if that kid makes Tobe already said that he looks like he's going to be on the special team, so he looks like he probably going to be a shoe in to make it. Him
Oh
and
yeah,
the
he was what, fourth round pick. He'll be on the roster.
yeah. So and they said the same thing about the Nick Jones kid. Najee Johnson is pretty much a shoe in as the gunner. So
Mhm.
that's what
Yeah,
Tobe said. So but yeah, I could just see I could see this defense rolling this year, man. And I think, and I'm not talking about late, I'm talking about early, coming out, flying around, just looking confident, and now they know where they're supposed to be. None of that, looking lost, and Spags doesn't have to hold back on the playbook
yeah,
as much, as he did. He don't have to just keep it basic. He can run, some different stuff at the offenses, and disguise some stuff and show different looks early, in the season. So yeah, I'm excited for this defense, man. Well, the Chiefs went to the White House yesterday, y'all. Now, this is special because the first time when we
they
won the
didn't
Super
get to.
Bowl, COVID happened, and we
Yep,
weren't able to go to the White House. The Chiefs off season got derailed because of COVID, and they couldn't do a lot of things. They couldn't really celebrate like they wanted to. That's why I feel like that this Super Bowl was a little bit more better, special and
yep,
better, not just for us, but for them too, because they got to do all the things that Super Bowl champions are able to do. Travis going to SNL. You see Patrick Mahomes going to the Met Gala and going to Formula One stuff and
yeah,
all
and
this other. He's going to the Kentucky Derby and he's doing all this stuff. And initially they all get to go to the White House. And the president, celebrates all the Super Bowl champions. And we got to see Travis. He acting like he was about to say something on the podium, and Patrick Mahomes had to stop him. You see some of the guys dancing in the White House, Sky Moore and Isaiah Pacheco and all them.
Juju.
Chris Jones falling asleep in the chair. uh, but the one thing I wanted to highlight is what Andy Reid said in one of his speeches. He looked like he wasn't just putting the NFL on notice; he's putting the whole world on notice.
Biden said, nobody believed us before. Nobody believed us before. And I'm sure it's going to be that same way this time. And we come out and prove them wrong.
Reid putting his nuts on the table and saying, we about to crash out. And the White House, baby.
that might be like Andy Reid looks serious, and that's it's supposed to be a fun day, and he's like, he just stood there like, didn't even change his emotion, nothing.
Like the first half of the speech was like all fun loving, and then he got to that middle part, and he was like, they didn't believe in us, and they probably won't again. We come out and prove them wrong again. That's what I'm talking about, Andy. That's what I'm talking about. So it was just a special moment, you know what I'm saying, to see the our team. It's
Yeah,
celebrating at the White House because they just won the Super Bowl. And like I said, we didn't get that opportunity to see that because the first time, because of COVID, because COVID sucks. So what are your guys' thoughts on the Chiefs going to the White House?
I mean, obviously, for obvious reasons, it's an honor to even have that stage, to be able to do that. Not everybody's given that opportunity. I think it was Frank Clark that said it. The fact that they were invited, that's a big deal. Not everybody can just go up to the White House and be able to have that honor to. And I try to get all the political mess as far as with all that stuff and everything. No matter who's in the office,
exactly.
so it's just an honor just to be able to do that. The fact that you had to win it on one of the biggest stages in all professional sports and stuff like that, you basically proved and earned your right to be on that stage and be able to experience and do your TikTok dances and to be able to see some of this stuff. I mean, it was good to see It's like some of the former players over there. It was good to see McCole Hardman there. Although he may be a Jet, it's good to see him get that honor.
Clean, boy, looking clean. The nice little suit with the ice on the wrist.
Right. It's like it was good. It was good to see that, even with Frank Clark and everything. It was great to see him to be part of it. Regardless.
Carlos Dunlap too, who never won anything.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati. Then he went to Seattle and they stunk, and then he finally got it done here. So
yeah, I was happy.
The only player I probably felt bad for is that you kind of think about it, even going back to the last time, was probably Colquitt. He's probably like one of those few players that comes to mind because of what he had did in the past and all that stuff. And he didn't actually get. I mean, I thought he should be an honorable mention just to go, whatever.
Yeah.
But like we said, for the way the Chiefs season unfolded, that team was not supposed to be there based on the opinions of the 95%. They weren't supposed to beat the Bills. They weren't supposed to get out of the schedule. They were supposed to finish third or dead last in their division. And that's if that's what's supposed to look like, and this team is even better, might as well just go ahead and pack your suitcases now.
And the funny part is everybody said nobody doubted the Chiefs. I'm like, what?
That's a lie and a half.
Everybody wanted to say that after the Chiefs won. And they're like, oh, nobody doubted y'all. What are you talking about? I'm like,
that's a lie and a half.
I had an argument with a coworker over that. Man, might doubt y'all. What?
y'all said we was gonna be third in the division. The Chargers had us beat. Denver was better.
If we wanted to play Family Feud, the number one reason why the Chiefs were not supposed to be as good is because Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
That was the number one reason.
And Tyrann Mathieu. Because they saw Tyrann Mathieu. Oh, they lost Tyrann Mathieu. They're not gonna be good. So
didn't matter.
Nope. Because at the end of the day, we had the best coach. I'm saying that right now. Right now, Andy Reid's the best coach in the NFL.
Right now.
Best coach, best GM, and best quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You had those
best tight ends.
Yep.
The best tight end. Yeah. Maybe the best defensive tackle.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say he is right now. That's another list I seen. I didn't.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Like, come on, man.
They had Jeffrey Simmons at number 10.
He should be top 5. Yeah. Jeffrey Simmons should be top 5. What are we doing?
Put him at 3 because I'm not putting Dexter Lawrence that high yet.
No, he got to do it again.
Yeah,
he got to do it again. But yeah, Jeffrey Simmons should be number 3 on that list. I don't know who are making these lists. Y'all need to stop it because you're terrible at it. You're bad.
They're going to a bunch of kids or somewhere that's extremely biased somewhere. That's the only thing.
Let's be honest. Aaron Donald, is he the best defensive tackle in the league right now? Like, I'll give him his flowers. He's probably the best defensive tackle maybe of all time. But right now, no.
Not last year.
No.
Not last year, especially with the injuries, everything. That team was bad. I'm not saying that he's not top 5. He's still top 5. He might be still top 3.
I might put him number 2 or 3.
Yeah,
but resume-wise, compared to everybody else, he's top 3 easily.
Yeah. But last year, we just going by last year, he was not the top defense. It was Chris Jones. Chris Jones was the clear-cut top defensive tackle last year.
Jeffrey Simmons probably number 2.
Yeah, because Simmons was a beast, and he was giving us pure hell in that Tennessee Titan game last year.
Yeah, it was.
So
that kid up in, I think it was Williams up in New York was making a run too in the very beginning of it too.
Oh yeah, Quentin Williams. He reminds me of Chris Jones. Like he's like a young version of Chris Jones to me. Like he's going to continue to get better. They better pay him too.
They better pay him though. Yeah.
Man, Jets better not play. He makes that defense go. Because I saw it in a game. I forgot what game they was playing, but he was in that first half. He was balling out. I want to say he was playing Buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Buffalo. Yep.
He was balling out. He got hurt, and that whole defense changed. It was not the same. Josh Allen was having a hard time getting the ball down the field. He couldn't even get the ball off because Quentin Williams was in the backfield.
He couldn't even run because Quentin Williams was there too fast.
Yeah, he couldn't do nothing. As soon as he got hurt, that defensive line changed. And then Buffalo just started going on a run. They started scoring touchdowns.
And then, the quarterback situation was terrible too.
It was bad too, yeah.
Mike White got hurt.
Yeah, that's right. He did get hurt. And they had to put Wilson back in. And, yeah, we know how that goes. Yeah. They just go ahead and just cut that kid. I don't even know why they got him still there.
They
I
might
can't-
as well just let him sit behind Rodgers and see what
you
it
know,
does.
you know how stupid that
Why?
sounds.
So he can learn bad work ethic.
You know how stupid that sounds to say insurance policy and that's more of a liability than an insurance policy with him. I can't even fix my words to say that.
Yeah, because if he has to come in at any point this season, if Rodgers goes down, whatever happens, then you're in trouble because you're not winning with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. You're not
Man,
winning nothing. You might win 4 games, even with that roster they got now being as good as it is.
I'd rather have Josh Johnson as my backup than Zach Wilson. Yeah, yeah, Josh Johnson, dude, the third string quarterback for the 49ers last year.
They
Who
got
looked
hurt.
looked like a deer in headlights last year. Yeah, I'd rather have that dude. At least he can throw the football down the field. Zach Wilson can't throw the football 5 yards.
He can't even hit a check down. Trying to throw to the running back, throws it over his head. I'm like,
I might have Baker Mayfield. Okay, maybe not Baker Mayfield.
No,
did you see that? Did you see that video? Oh my god!
With the 2 quarterbacks that I sent, that was terrible.
When he was throwing it over their head.
With the flute music going on in the background, that's what made it worse.
Yeah, he's in rare form. He's early. He's in rare form. He's ready to go.
Well, I said that's something wide open.
Tampa Bay might be 1-15. Man.
Yeah, they might be in the Caleb Williams.
Drake May.
Hey, if they got one of them two with that receiving core, like obviously you might not be able to keep Evans. I would probably keep Godwin because he's younger.
Yeah.
I don't know. Looking at the Raiders situation, they might be in for it too. It's a possibility with the unknowns about Garoppolo being.
The Raiders might be trading for a quarterback.
They might be trading for the guy in Arizona.
Who want somebody that can barely get on the kiddie ride as their quarterback? Are you kidding me?
That's messed up, Mark.
No, it's just, I mean, clearly something is going on down in Arizona. You know, all this stuff is coming out and the playing frustrations. I don't know. I mean,
they're going to put him on ice this year, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays on IR this year.
Oh, yeah.
He should.
He's not coming. There's no reason they're not going to be playing for anything meaningful at all.
You don't want him to get hurt. You wrap him up in bubble tape and
you don't want to diminish his trade value. Because I still think Kyler Murray could be a good quarterback. I just think he was. I mean, let's call it like it is. Cliff Kingsbury should have never got that job. I mean, when you have a losing record in college and then you get a job at NFL, that don't make any sense.
Yeah, they strapped themselves, or even just tying them to that contract too. You know, I was not a fan of that contract and the extension they gave him. I'm like,
look, I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan. I think he has talent. Now, the talent there. I've seen the talent. Like, that Raider game he played where he was.
Yeah, I always liked Kyler Murray.
Last year when he was running around, he ran in the pocket and he just threw a dart in the back of the. I was like, okay, the kid is special. He's got talent. I just don't like his body language, man. I can't get with that, man. Like if Patrick Mahomes had that body language, man, we would never win no Super Bowls, man. You'll never see Patrick Mahomes.
I think that stems from the coaching because when you got a young player like that coming in the league immature, and then you got a coach that has never been there at that stage before. He's immature himself, and then you mix that together. I don't know. It just don't work.
Cliff Kingsbury was like 13, like young, man. Just because he got a relationship with Sean
McVay and Patrick Mahomes, he had his phone number. He had their phone number, so they're like, "All right, we're gonna hire you." You got the direct call
because you coached.
You coached Mahomes, and you didn't even have a winning record, so we're gonna hire you.
You ain't coached Mahomes. Mahomes out there throwing that football by himself.
Right.
He was just slinging that thing up in there.
Yeah, he was.
Because half of the time, that's what he did. Bump it. Somebody down there.
It's hard. It's hard for me to even just take that in. Just looking at even at that time, well, the Big 12, they're not really a conference known for defense anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, the Oklahoma and Texas Tech games just told you that. They scored like 70 points.
Yeah.
They're in a shootout. What are you talking about? We used to this. Is the Big 12.
Yeah, that's
shootout every week.
No defense. Ole, right. Get an end zone, baby.
Those
the Jayhawks are building defense, though.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all might have a squad this year in Kansas, man.
That defense is looking.
I hate to say it. I hate it.
For once in a long time.
But Daniels is nice. Isn't that his name?
Yeah, he
Jaylon
is.
Daniels.
Yeah.
Jaylon Daniels. He's nice. He's nice. He's got potential to be, up his draft stock this year
Yeah.
if he balls out. Is he what are you, a sophomore?
I think he's a junior, or he's
He's
a
a junior?
redshirted junior. So basically, he's a sophomore.
Sophomore.
He'll transfer.
But he ain't transferring. He said he'll transfer. Where's he gonna go?
Gonna go to Georgia, man.
Yeah,
Alabama.
he's staying here.
He'll transfer.
I need to get on the bigger stage, man. I'm going to Dion. I'm going with Dion.
We'll see.
Hey,
we'll
they're
see.
coming to the Big 12.
Cool.
We'll see him in
Colorado
USC.
and Arizona.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. Yeah,
That's
I heard
gonna be
about that.
interesting.
Yeah. So they're pretty much coming back because they was in the Big 8.
Yeah. Then they left, and then
Yeah.
the Pac-12's not going to be a conference soon. What is everybody just going to split up? Like
It's gonna
I
be
know
the Pac-6.
UCLA is going to the Big Ten with USC, so it was Oregon and Oregon's. I know Oregon could go, but Oregon State probably not getting an offer from the Big Ten.
Because it's USC and who else is leaving? UCLA, right?
Yeah, and that's like the two. I mean, that's the two biggest teams in the Pac-12 outside of Oregon.
Hey, if I'm Oregon, I'm like, leave, please, get up out of here. You take over.
That's stupid to me, though. As far as I mean, I get it for all the money's sake and all that stuff, but I just hate it because you got teams.
It don't make sense at all.
and,
But
and then the conferences is just all screwed up.
Yeah, I don't like that 2 West Coast teams is going to be in
the Big Ten.
It's like
I thought that was like a northern thing. Like
I was almost at the point where Texas should have their own conference. Period. I was almost at that point. I'm like, why don't they have their own conference? I mean, you got the TCU, Texas, and
yeah, Texas Tech, Baylor, and
y'all got 1,000 schools as it is. Everything. California
SMU.
is the same way because you got California, you got Stanford, UCLA, USC, and you got the smaller one. Pepperdine and all them coming up.
Yeah.
And it's not like some of these, even if you look at it from the basketball perspective, they're coming up too. Like these teams actually catching up. But then we just moving them, and geographically it don't make any sense and stuff like that. That's what gets me.
Where's Gonzaga? Ain't Gonzaga in
California? It's in Washington.
I was in Washington.
They're talking about that's another team. They're talking about what the Big 12 is just like trying to add everybody. They want to add Gonzaga for basketball when you're throwing in Arizona, who's already a really good team every year in basketball. Then you're throwing in some other teams like UCF, teams like that. It just don't make any sense for me.
It's all over the place. Now.
It is.
Like, come on, man.
They're going to be like 20 teams in each conference. It's going to be the Big 12, 20 teams, Big 10, 20 teams, SEC, 20 teams, and everybody else just.
We're going to have UNLV in the Big East in 2 years. That's how bad it is. Like, what?
Heck no. Way over there. There's a lot of traveling, man.
That's how bad it's getting. It just don't make any sense.
No.
I mean, what are we doing?
UNLV better be in the Pac-12, baby. Woo!
Blown out. I mean, we can't even get in the Mountain West. For what?
Yeah, we're trash.
There's a reason why I've gone to a UNLV football game in almost 10 years.
Even though I did like the quarterback that we got last year, the quarterback's actually decent. It's just, I don't know.
They needed to because they had to start over with a new coach.
Everything else is bad. We can't put a decent team on.
What about the Nevada?
Reno's always
Wolfpack?
good. Yeah. Reno's always good on football. They're always good. But they're good in basketball too. But they're always good at football.
Because they had that one quarterback that was supposed to be like a high prospect, but I haven't heard about him in like 2 years. Carson Strong or something like that.
Yeah, Carson. Didn't he get drafted?
I haven't heard about that. Did he even get drafted?
I think he got drafted, like late round, but I think he got drafted.
That's where Cap came from.
Yeah. No, Reno always has a good program. It's just us. We can't get no good program. They even tried to. I remember when they tried to hire the Bishop Gorman coach. He didn't do nothing.
Nope.
He couldn't do nothing. Because it's not like we're deprived of talent. We see it. There's talent all in the NFL from Vegas and in the NBA from Vegas. It's not like we don't have it. It's just that guys just leave. I mean, I don't blame them. Why would I want to stay? Why would I want to stay at UNLV when I can go to Alabama?
Hey, UNLV used to be like really good, like back in the day, though.
Oh yeah, basketball. Yeah, we was the league back in the day. In the 90s, yeah, of course. And then they got caught cheating.
Yeah, they was running with the mob.
Hey, I got cheating. Yeah. They had to get some sanctions put on us, and it was over.
Still haven't recovered yet.
I mean, we had some decent teams here and there, but yeah, we just can't get over that hump, man. Oh well, always got the Chiefs. Always got the Chiefs.
Yep.
That's a good
You
thing.
You can always become a KU Jayhawk fan.
I can never do that. You serious? I get excommunicated from my family.
Y'all root for the Missouri Tigers. Man, I feel bad.
Actually, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, yeah, I root for the Tigers, but I'm always more so of a UMKC fan. You know what I'm saying? Go Rules, baby. You know what I'm saying? So
they had a decent season last year in basketball, I think.
They did. I used to go to the when I was a kid, and I used to come out to Kansas City. My auntie used to take me to the games and stuff. So yeah. But we still rep Mizzou. Even though we lose every season. I was sad when we went to the SEC. I was like, why are they going to the SEC?
Then that first year, they were in the championship game.
Yeah, they were. Didn't they get blown out, though?
Yeah.
He was Alabama, right?
Who was that quarterback they had?
Was it Brad Smith here?
Maybe.
Was it Brad Smith?
I remember he was like a dual threat quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Because he had to end up changing the wide receiver in the league, didn't he?
Yeah, that was him.
I think it was Brad Smith. Yeah, whatever. You guys are winning NCAA championships, whatever. I don't care.
Y'all just need to find a new football coach. I don't like that dude.
I don't like him.
He talks too much for not winning enough.
Yeah. He's too conservative.
Yeah, that too.
And then when we had Georgia on the ropes because we was running
I was watching that game
down their throat. They couldn't handle the running back. And then I want to make this quarterback look good. I'm going to throw it like 20 million times. He was trying to be Andy Reid all of a sudden, not running the football. And it's like, come on, man. Them DBs is too good, man.
Like, this isn't where was he coaching at before? Appalachian State or something like that. This ain't it.
I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what. I don't know what Missouri's gonna do.
They got some talent too. That receiver's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, that running back.
They always looking up and getting some 5-star recruit now lately, but they don't do nothing with them.
Yep. He can recruit. He doesn't know how to utilize the players.
Yeah, he'll be transferring soon. He'll be going to Georgia or some other state. Going over there with Dion. Yeah, that's our life. But anyway.
We got completely off track.
I'm sitting there looking at the different teams as far as looking to see what the Bills were doing, seeing where their odds were despite their acquisitions, and some of them still got them at 3-4. That's kind of interesting.
Because they're bums. No, I'm just playing.
Did y'all see about the Raiders? I was going to bring this up. So apparently Josh McDaniels said Josh Jacobs has not signed the franchise tag yet. He's not under contract right now, so he's not going to be at the camps until that gets resolved.
He wants to get paid.
I don't blame him.
It's tricky with Jacobs because it's almost – we know there's potential with Jacobs, but he's almost in that same situation where he's been hurt them previous years.
Yeah, like a Saquon Barkley.
So it's not really a guarantee. It's difficult.
He's a baller, though.
It is hard for running backs to get money. I mean, CMC getting criminally underpaid for what he does. I know he's hurt a lot, but
you know what? He made some very valid points, though. So I was watching a little clip they had of him on the I think it was a Rich Eisen show, and how they were underappreciated, and then they were putting all the value as far as on the receivers. I mean, we get as a passing league, but also with these running backs, they still need them to do what they do to get them these receivers open. So I think the running back has been underappreciated.
I think I'm not gonna say it's the misconception. I think the misconception that it's a passing league, I think it's more so a balanced league.
Yeah, that's fair.
On both sides of the football. Like when it starts getting cold, you gotta have a decent running back.
Yep.
I mean, we talk about it all the time with Buffalo. if they continuously do how they run it and just run Josh Allen
They
to the
couldn't even win
ground,
a snow game at home when that's supposed to be like their strength.
but if they had a battering ram
Yep.
running back who could just run the football and keep that Bengals offense on the sideline, might be talking about a different game. You know what I'm saying? And we might be talking about playing at a neutral site and when we whoop the Buffalo Bills on that
In
field.
Atlanta.
But I'm just saying, like, I think it's a more of a balanced league, but more so is always just a passing league because we saw it against Tennessee. We threw the ball like 800 times, and we didn't run the
And it didn't
football.
work. And it didn't work.
And you get one dimensional in this league. These defensive coordinators are just too damn good.
And you see it on the flip side with Tennessee, where they just run the ball all the time.
And the receiver can't get separation.
Yep.
Exactly. So I think it's more of a balance league. Whereas back in the day, if you played good defense, if you had a great running back,
And you control the ball.
You controlled the ball. You had a quarterback who doesn't make mistakes, was a good game manager. You know what I'm saying? Unless you had like a John Elway or a Joe Montana, who, was just special. You know what I'm saying? But if you had just a halfway decent quarterback with a great running back and some defense, you win the Super Bowl back in the 80s, 90s, and whatever. Nowadays, you can't just run the football.
No.
You gotta have a great quarterback to win.
Or you at least a good one with enough pieces around him that he can, operate. A
like
great
a Matthew
head coach.
Stafford.
Yeah, you got to have that because you got to be balanced in this league. Because, like I said, these coordinators are just too good, man, and these offenses and defenses are just so sophisticated nowadays that you just can't just do basic stuff.
No.
Nowadays, you got to throw some stuff at them that they ain't never seen before. Because these quarterbacks have seen a lot. They're smart. The top tier ones are smart. You know what I'm saying? They've seen all the. I mean, just call it what it is. I mean, like the bottom tier guys, they still they still can't read a cover 3, man. That's why they throw so many picks. So.
Yeah, and even so, I think that kind of contributes in having more ways to win. So I think with Andy, we seen times where we automatically thought it was going to be a pass until they would dial up a run, and every time where you think it's going to dial up a run and to be a pass. I think even so, it's like we can call a number of games. I think even when they played the Browns, when he had Henny in there, I was thinking it was either going to be a run or there was just a bluff. And all of a sudden, he seemed snapping in his throw. I'm like, oh, it was something different. But I just got to come up with more ways to win because we already know, doggone well, and the other teams know it, is that the Chiefs are not doing a quarterback sneak. We know that. That is out. That is out the playbook.
That's out the playbook. Burned completely out of the playbook.
So now they got to come up with more style, another style, way to win. And that's when we start to dial up some of these other plays that be dang near give me a heart attack. These little
man.
pitches.
Little pitch during the Cincinnati Bengals game and that AFC Championship game had me ready to break the TV. What are we doing? Just take the three.
But what's crazy about it, though, and this just comes to show what kind of coach and how Andy Reid affects his game, there was another team, I forgot who it was, they try to execute that exact same play. I'm like,
man, I see that every week on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, where some team takes a play from Chiefs.
Yeah, it was that one play's really taking that little tight end pitch in the red zone. That play has been completely stolen around, and everybody's running it, and it's not working.
But
anymore.
But Andy Reid, though, it's like he comes up with these plays, though, and it's almost like Popovich's, because like with Popovich, when he had this great team with the Spurs, not this modern day crap that he got now, but with Popovich, when the way he run his offense, when he had Duncan and Ginobili and Parker, he didn't run plays where it's designed to just go for Parker or Ginobili. It was situational. So that option was open at that given time, and anything, anybody can do it. The way he's dialing it up, it could be that same pitch play. We've seen he even giving it to Clyde in the backfield. I'm like, oh, I thought it was going to Kelsey, and then that's just the way he's doing and how he's running it. And there's just
well, we know Andy Reid is scheme based, and he wants the scheme to be the more. He don't want everything to be so player centric. Like this. Now we all know Travis Kelce is the number one option. Like we not
Right. Yeah.
He's the number
That's
one
not a
guy.
question.
That's not a question. He's getting the football.
Every
Patrick
week.
trusts him the most, and he's going to be the number one guy. But he wants the offense. Even when he was in Philly, he always wanted the offense to run where this play could be to this guy, and this play could be this guy. And if this guy isn't open, we still got this option, and we got this option. So that's how Andy has always been. He tries to he's always a step ahead. He thinks 3 steps ahead most coaches. That's why he's been in this league and has the winning seasons that he's had, because he's a Coach Klein. water boy. He's Coach Klein. He's drawing up plays on the chalkboard, whatever.
And it works too. He got corn dog and
but even some of
whatever
that corn dog players, like, I've been trying to watch. I probably got to watch it again though. What was the next option if that play wasn't there? Because I know he ran it. He ran it twice for a reason. Obviously, we want to see they do the same thing, but I wanted to see if there been the next option had that play not been open again.
I think Travis would have probably been the next option.
I have to look at that play again to see how that unfolded. And I know I was so keyed into looking at that, and I remember I was looking at everything, and I was like, "Oh, he's wide open." So I just got to see exactly how
twice.
And
that's
twice.
And Andy Reid seen it. He said, "Okay, they're gonna not switch here, so I'm gonna."
But that's what Philly gets for getting that bonehead that's now down in Miami for cheating. But that's another story. Because that's what happened. Cool. Because that one guy that was tipping him, he was trying to give him tips. He was that coordinator or
Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio.
That's why he still never beat Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. You gonna hire somebody that never beat him?
Even though he's a good defense coordinator, but.
He is, but he ain't
out of Miami now, though.
They're going to be better on defense.
When everybody says how his scheme slows down Mahomes, and I'm like,
he got Chubb down there, so it's like it's no stranger.
Yeah.
You got better, but they ain't got more than Chubb. You got
Ramsey,
you got a secondary.
Howard, the Holland's a good safety.
Christian Wilkins or whatever his name is, defensive tackle in the middle. You got Agba. When he's healthy, the problem with Agba, he can't stay healthy. When Agba was playing, he's a good. I wanted to keep Agba.
Me too.
He was a good defensive.
I wanted to get him back.
Yeah, but he can't stay healthy to save his life. But still, when he's on the field, he's good. So
he can give you like 10 sacks.
Yeah, there's some guys over there, and Big Fangio. Yeah, if they can stay healthy, that defense is going to be a problem. That way, you don't have Tua trying to throw the football 100 million times.
Tua put on some weight, which I think is a good thing for him because
he needs to.
Yeah, he needed it.
I think that's going to be the bigger story down in the AFC East though, because we always talk about offenses and all the other divisions, but I think with their defense, because the Jets' defense isn't bad, Miami's defense isn't bad, Buffalo's defense is starting to come together, and the pressure is really on that coach this year. Him being a defensive-minded coach, that he better have that defense together.
I think that I don't know, is he on the hot seat?
But if they lose like in the like they did last year, I can see them gone.
Yeah, I can, because I can see them going for a more offensive-minded head coach.
Yeah,
because maybe because Josh Allen might need that. He might need a more offensive-minded coach that's more aggressive and not so conservative than Sean McDermott.
Yeah, if you're a DC, you gotta have a great OC if you're gonna be a defensive head coach.
And see, I just don't like Ken Dorsey, man. I didn't like the way he called. I didn't like the way he called plays, man. Like Dayball put them in good situational football.
And he ran the football when they needed it.
He improved Josh Allen. He did, but you can just see the step back with Ken Dorsey, and Ken don't call plays like Dayball, man. Like that's why even so with me getting into some of these people, I said when their window was closed when Dayball left, sometimes being a fan can make you delusional.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I know what I see. And there's moments where I think even it don't matter what team you're a fan. Sometimes you can be a little delusional and whatnot. But
look, I ain't gonna lie. When we lose Travis Kelce and then Andy Reid, I'm gonna be kind of like,
yeah, you can't replace that. I mean,
you're gonna see.
I just think that's more. I think that's more the situation that I have as far as we all talked about as far as with the offensive line. We just have questions. That's just where the biggest question is for me.
Yeah,
Not even the line, just the tackles, because
tackles.
the interior is
interior is always going to be glitchy. They're good. They're good. I ain't worried about the interior. We got one of the best, if not the best, interior offensive line in the NFL. So
we got the best center. We're gonna have to start paying these guys too, and I think Joe Thuney could be a cap casualty next offseason. Though I don't want him to be, because he definitely deserves the money he's getting. I mean, he's probably the best guard in the NFL, but at that point, you're gonna have to pay Creed. You're gonna have to pay Trey Smith. Nick Bolton's looking at extension. L'Jarius Sneed, maybe
Creed
Willie Gay.
Creed Humphrey and Bolton, I think, are the same year too.
Yep, they are.
So that's going to be.
I think Gay is gone.
I think so too.
Next year, I don't think he's going to be here.
I think that's why they drafted Leo.
Yeah,
even though they're not. I don't think he could play that role, being the pass coverage guy like that. But
not yet, at least. I mean, that's he's had some plays where he was active. And I think he's shown a little bit of promise. But
they said, he tested on the same level as Luke Kuechly, which is crazy. But
how?
Yeah.
Leo Chenal's
he didn't look like the Luke Kuechly.
I'm just telling you, his RAS score was the same as
Luke Kuechly.
As Luke Kuechly.
We might have some. Maybe they brought in Drew.
That's why everybody was so excited. That's why a lot of people were excited about Leo Chenal.
Yeah.
Because they thought this kid is an athlete. He could brush the passer. He could do it all type still. But we saw the learning curve is a little bit down. In the Super Bowl, he was great.
Yeah, he was.
He was
but
great.
That might help you in the rotation though too, because we're not going to have some of these rotations where I've been questioning why in the world are we putting this in.
Well, we're still going to have one.
47 is gone. So that's the plus right there.
Not even there. There's one every single year though.
Yeah, exactly. There's gonna be one this year.
Last year was 47. The year before that, it was
56. It was 2 the year before that, 56 and 49.
Yeah. Oh, that was a headache. Combining 56
and 53,
48, whatever he was. His name, that was a nightmare.
And 49.
Yeah, it was. That was
all
like
3 of them.
Yeah.
All 3 of them. Hitchens, get him out of here.
Yeah. Man, he was terrible. Anthony Hitchens was
slow.
Awful.
Slow.
That dude's out the league now.
And he couldn't hit. He get ran over. When he got ran over by Baker Mayfield, I said, get this dude off.
He was terrible. He was good that first, little bit that first year, but after that, he was
horrible.
Yeah,
and then I think he got hurt. Nick Bolton had to come in, and you just saw a total different defense.
And we were all wondering, why isn't Nick Bolton playing anyways? That was so annoying.
Because they was paying Hitchens all that money.
Yeah.
They had to put him on the field. He was a bum.
I would have paid him money to sit on the bench. I would have paid him more.
Bum. He was a bum.
That was a story of what's his name?
That dude would get cooked every week.
That was a story of 75 some years ago.
And then Ben Neiman. Neiman. Get him off the field too.
Blow coverage, and him and Sorensen, they just they talk to each other like, how are we going to blow the coverage this time?
How are we going to get ran over this week? Huh?
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it, people were still justifying it to this day.
Yeah. No, it's not all Sorensen's fault. It's Tyrann Mathieu' fault.
I said, it's Tyrann Mathieu' fault that
when he's playing in the box and Sorensen is playing deep.
Not even that. And I pulled these numbers up a couple years ago too. I said Sorensen was arguably the worst in his position in the league. And then when they put in all DBs, he was bottom 5. That's how bad it was. And the only person that was close to him was the dude that tripped over his own feet. It ended up in Minnesota. That was the only one that was worse.
I just remember the Buffalo game. I think it was Thursday night or Sunday night.
Yeah,
regardless. I just remember the Buffalo game. He was guarding Dawson Knox.
Oh, it was a Monday night game.
And he saw Josh Allen. He saw Josh Allen just go up a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna go off Dawson Knox and go get You way in the back, man. You ain't gonna get Josh Allen, man. Wide open touchdown.
Matthew
Man,
came
that
up,
pissed
showed
me
them
off.
the
But I
ball.
had Dawson Knox
Matthew
on my
was ready to kick
fantasy
the back
team that
route.
year, so
And
I
it
had
wasn't
Dawson
no
Knox last
Patrick
year. He
Mahomes
was a
fault
fluke
either.
last year.
yeah, he had one good year.
He was a fluke last year. I thought he was gonna break out. I thought he was gonna be my breakout. He was a fluke. He definitely ain't breaking out this year.
No.
They got Kincaid now. He ain't getting no passes thrown his way.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Knox he's gonna be hard for him to get on the field because he's not much of a blocker. So
He's a receiving tight end. That's what he is.
and now they got a better one than him. So it's like
Who could do both?
he might get traded before the season. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked.
He might. He'll be a good pickup for somebody though.
Yeah.
That's an old boy.
He'd be a good pickup for somebody.
Like Houston, I could see that would be a good spot.
Didn't they get Dalton Schultz?
Dalton Schultz.
Oh, they got Schultz. Yeah.
Yeah, he went because I remember I said Dalton Schultz sound like somewhere he should be a Texan somewhere. He ain't leaving out of Texas before I knew it.
He went to the Texans.
Texas got some talent over there.
They do, and they're talking high about their receiver
Tank Dell.
Yeah,
his route running is crazy.
It
He
is.
reminds me of Scott Moore a lot. Like
Me too, but a little bit more speed.
Yeah.
But do you rule out the crazy rumor or whatever it is, however you want to take it about D-Hop going there?
I think
If he goes to Texans, he is very unserious about running.
exactly. Unserious as hell. I mean, there ain't no reason to go there.
Because I know he wants the bag. I know that. And, it's only really about two teams that would be
that would be the biggest comedy act he'd ever pull.
It would be. He would be getting roasted all season.
Remember that time you told that joke you wanted to be on the contending team? Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Then he went to Houston. He said he wanted a stable front office,
pretty funny.
A good defense, and a quarterback, which they might have the quarterback figured out. But the other two things, they're not even close to having figured out. So
hopefully John Michie can come back after coming off that cancer scare.
Hold on, we talking about the Texans have their quarterback situation figured out.
They
CJ
might.
Stroud.
Yeah.
Stroud. Yeah, they
I
got
like
CJ
Stroud.
Stroud.
We'll have to see.
I like Stroud.
Me
I think
too.
Stroud's better than Long Neck.
Davis Mills.
Better than Long Neck over there, so it can't get no worse.
I think CJ would be.
I've never seen such separation between a helmet and pads until I
Look up Mike Glennon. Mike
yeah,
Glennon
his
would be
head
the other
big.
one.
His neck long.
God, man.
They might be related or something.
Peyton Manning just had that big old forehead.
That big forehead, and every time he took his helmet off, it had that red train.
Mm-hmm.
And then old
Yeah,
boy from
cradle
the
cap.
Celtics changed my mind about that forehead. I'm like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. He always had cradle cap. Yeah, it is.
I mean, I have no idea what to think about D. I think personally for me, I'm convinced that the Chiefs are making a run at D-Hop. That's
He's
just
going to the Browns. Watch.
That's
I would
what
like
I think.
that for him because he could win there. He could probably make a little more money there than he could here, and that would be a good spot for him.
It would
And,
make some
and
great.
you know what? That receiving core would be nice.
Mari Cooper, him, and then Elijah Moore.
And they drafted Cedric Tillman too. So
It would make watching that division that much more fun. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. If he goes there, it would make. I mean, we discussed this a week ago. It's like it would make that division is a toss up as it is. It's a competitive toss up. Add somebody like him, D-Hop to the mix.
I think that takes him over the top.
look,
I do.
Bengal fans, PSA. You know how much we hate you.
Deshaun Watson's coming.
You know how much I hate y'all. I'll just let y'all know that y'all not winning y'all division this year. Y'all not. You're not.
Nope.
It's over.
It's
the
done.
honeymoon. The honeymoon's over. Like, these guys stay healthy. You better hope somebody break a leg. Knock on wood, somebody don't. Y'all better hope somebody break a leg or something because y'all ain't winning that division this year. Yeah,
They better hope Lamar Jackson ain't there again.
Yeah, you better hope and pray Deshaun Watson is a shell of himself and he's just done.
I don't think that.
I don't think he is either. But I'm just saying, you better hope.
Yeah.
You better hope last year version of Deshaun Watson is who he is now. Because if it ain't, it's over.
Yeah, because that defense is still the best in the division. I mean, I put them
Better.
above Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I put them up the top.
And you better hope Baby Hand Killer and Steelers ain't coming for y'all either. Kenny Pickett.
Anybody that division can be had by anybody. I mean, we're talking about if a team staying down is 9-8 and that's their floor with Mike Tomlin. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They just had a bad start. That was the only thing that separated them.
It was Mitch Trubisky. They should have just rolled with Pickett day one.
He would have got better, and then he might have been in the playoffs. See,
that's just a gauntlet of a division. Getting out of your
Trubisky
division
wasn't even. Pickett can at least be a game manager to where he's not going to turn the ball over, and that's really all Tomlin needs with what the team he's got. But Trubisky just be turning it over. I mean, he was just terrible.
So you think Thanksgiving we win the division again this year, fellas? By Thanksgiving, cutting turkey and winning the turkey like we did last year.
Last year we celebrated it. It was
we
great.
won the division by Thanksgiving.
It was all wrapped up.
Take care of the division and trying to wrap up that top seed as quick as possible.
I mean, there's just question mark. I mean, we don't know what the Chargers are going to do with what's your name, Kellen Moore as the OC. We don't see.
Dude, I think he's a little bit overrated because when their play calling in Dallas was questionable last year, and as far as I know, he was calling plays.
He was, but at the same time, Dak is one of those quarterbacks you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but you can't put him in bad situations either. That play, 2 years ago, that stupid play they ran, he running the football. That was
last year? Just last year?
I guess that's what I'm saying. A couple years ago, he ran that stupid play.
Well, he ran another stupid play against the 49ers where Ezekiel Elliott was the center.
That game was a full-blown awful mess, period, because the way the game ended, and even so, it was a prelude to that. We should have known better. Because there was one play where they had executed like a third down or something like that, and they just did look like they had no idea what they were doing, and them getting a delay a game. I'm like, this is a mess, and that's part of McCarthy. And I'm like, what are they doing? But
they should have went and got Sean Payton.
And then Dak, I don't know.
Yeah, but like I said, as far as the Chargers go, we don't know if they're gonna stay healthy. That's the question.
That's the biggest question.
I mean, I like their pickup though. I will say that.
And if they lose Eckler, which I'm not sure how that's going.
He resigned, so he's definitely there.
Yeah, they gave him some more money.
They need Eckler because he's a big part of that offense.
And like I said, Justin Herbert, is he that guy? Really? Is he really that guy?
I mean, I've seen it from him in flashes, but we haven't seen it week in and week out
consistently.
So,
there's some games where he looks like that guy, and then some games it's like
that first game he started when Tyrod Taylor got the punctured lung against the Chiefs, and I was expecting just us to just go out there and completely dominate that game, and Justin Herbert stepped up immediately.
He did. No, he came in the league smashing. It's just
it's tough when it's tough going against a QB with no tape, and you know what he's done in college, and that doesn't necessarily translate well. And of course, he's dealing with a divisional team that kind of knows.
And especially he didn't even know he was going to start the game until like an hour before.
Yeah.
So Denver, as far as Denver goes, their defense is always good. You know that much. Their defense, now that they got a competent coach and Sean Payton. As much as we rag on Russell Wilson, I do expect him to have a better year. Do I think he's going to be top 10 quarterback? No. But do I think he's going to be middle of the pack? Yeah. I do. I think he's going to have a better season.
I agree with that.
They aggressively went after a backup.
He's not going to be any worse.
No, he can't be no worse than what he was. So I just think they were disorganized in Denver. Nathaniel Hackett had no business having that job. He didn't know what the hell he was doing.
No.
I think Sean Payton's going to run that thing like a well-oiled machine, and he's going to know what he's doing. So I think and he's used to working with, small quarterbacks like he did with Drew Brees. So he's going to probably do some of the similar stuff with Russell Wilson. And I expect Russell Wilson to be better. Now, I'm not predicting them to win the division or be in the arms race with us. No. But I do think they'll be better this year. So
And the Raiders,
and the Raiders are just gonna be terrible. They're just gonna be bad.
You think Denver will have a wild card spot?
I wouldn't be surprised. Dog, the biggest stat last year, the most incredible stat was if they scored 18 points a game, it'd have been 14-3.
Yep.
14-3 if they just scored 18 points.
Yep.
They would have won the majority of their games. So I gotta take that to the bank. Like, they're gonna be better than that on offense.
Yep.
And if they're just competent on offense, that's what that tells me. If you're just competent on offense, you can make the playoffs. So I think Denver makes the playoffs.
And the Raiders, we don't even got to discuss the Raiders.
They're gonna be last.
Brian Hoyer might be starting week 1, so
that's what it's looking like right now.
And he's gonna throw like 6 picks in the first game.
I hope he is starting week 1. I'd love to see that.
I think he will.
Just so I control Raiders fans. Even
I forgot they got a tough schedule starting off. I think they play like the Jets, and then they play the.
Dude, they getting smoked.
Yeah,
they're gonna be 0-5.
I think they play the Jets, so they play somebody, and then they play Buffalo week 2. Like
0-2.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good season for them. You might be right. They might be trying to tank for Caleb Williams. So
that makes sense. Williams in a Raider jersey.
Even if they don't get Caleb Williams or Drake May, there's some other good quarterbacks coming out next year. There is some good quarterbacks. Coming out next year. So
I think that's gonna be the storyline. They want to get Caleb Williams. They want to tell, especially having that division.
Yeah,
the next Mahomes versus the real Mahomes, and then real Mahomes tell the truth.
Look, I like Caleb Williams.
Me too, but he's not the next Mahomes.
Just calm down on the Mahomes.
Yeah,
that's what they say. The next,
who I compare him to?
Makes Mahomes like throws.
So does Kyler Murray.
They said Kyler Murray.
That's who I would compare him to.
A taller Kyler Murray. I can see that. A taller Kyler Murray. Yeah, I can see that. Cause I've seen that dude make some throws. I'm like, okay, he get with the right coach. This kid's gonna be special in the NFL. If he gets in the hands of let Sean McVay get a hand to hold of him.
Oh man, if he go with McVay, we're talking about MVP.
Okay, so
with Shanahan or one of them guys, but that's not happening.
The Raiders open up against Denver, and then they turn around and play the Buffalo Bills.
They might go. Yeah, they're gonna be on too.
Then they play the Steelers.
0-3.
Then they play the Chargers.
0-4.
And then you got the Packers on Monday night.
Loss.
Followed by
gonna put 450 on them. 5 touchdowns.
Followed by who?
Followed by New England.
They might.
I mean, the only reason why I'm tilting toward might because the fact they're at home, and then they play.
They're gonna lose. They stay at home.
And then they play the Bears.
They're gonna lose.
Justin Fields about to have like 200 rushing yards,
500 passing yards. DJ Moore is gonna have 250 receiving yards. Who's their secondary? Their secondary is terrible.
It is. Did they grab Marcus?
No, they ain't signed him yet.
They're
probably gonna wait. He probably
ain't gonna go there.
Well, he might, he ain't going to no OTAs, no mini camps.
He might not go to the Raiders at all. Why would you want to go there? Somebody else might present a different offer. It might be better.
He always wanted to be a Raider, so this is his last stint in the NFL. As it is over.
That's crazy because I remember when Marcus Peters first came out of college, and man,
I remember that first game, man.
Yeah,
we had like 2 picks.
2 picks, and then he followed that up with like 2 more.
Yeah, he was balling that rookie year, Marcus Peters, man.
That dude was special. I thought we had something for sure, like for years to come.
And found out he's a hothead.
Yeah,
he's always had that curse sometimes on him.
Why did they trade it? Like, what was the reason they traded him for?
Well, they said they said they wanted to change it since Patrick Mahomes was coming in the locker room. They wanted to change the guard. And they felt like Marcus Peters would kind of like not be, on board with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shit, he got to go then for real because
that was what Therese Paylor used to report that they wanted to switch the locker room with this is Mahomes' team, and Marcus Peters. He's vocal, he's outspoken, and it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked.
you got it, you got it. So,
Yeah, it's something you knew something happened with that because
and I mean, look, he had best. I mean, he always had something going down in every stop that he went. The Rams
Yep.
or something.
Baltimore.
They heard him, got rid of him. Baltimore, he was yelling at John Harbaugh last year. So, I mean.
And he was holding everybody in the playoffs. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so, I mean, what can you do?
Humphrey was that guy for him. He had to
Marlon Humphrey's a baller.
Yeah, he is. That defense in Baltimore is scary too. You talk about the back end of that defense with the safeties, and then
They were right there. They had Cincinnati shut down. And then one play.
Freaking Hundley trying to be a highlight real superstar.
Yeah.
Jump over.
What if he would have scored that touchdown with the Raiders that gave him the bag this offseason?
That changed the whole complex of how the playoffs went.
It did.
That whole side.
Yeah, we've been playing. Who didn't play?
We'd have played Baltimore.
We played
Right?
Baltimore?
Mm-hmm. We played Baltimore. They were the lower seed.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We'd have smashed them.
That changed the whole thing. That one.
Yeah, that's right, because Jacksonville won their division, so they were.
Jacksonville went and played. Who on the other side of that thing?
They would have played Buffalo.
Yeah, they would play Buffalo. In Buffalo, even so, you can put a question. I mean, that if you really think about it, that whole thing, just situationally with the backup quarterback stuff.
Yeah, because Buffalo won because what's the name choked. The coach for Miami, he choked.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the play call. I remember that. I was criticizing
terrible.
the world taking them 30 years to get a play call in.
Yeah,
That was
all
awful.
them delayed games killing them, man. They
He was
should have
over
won
there
that
hitting that wax pen and too busy.
Because Miami
game.
arguably
Good, baby. Let's go.
they could have beat them all 3 times. They really could have.
Yeah, no.
They gave that team fits.
Yeah, they did. They did. I remember. What was that? What was it? A Friday night? What game was that? Thanksgiving or Christmas? It was one of them games.
Yeah.
I think it was Thanksgiving.
I think it was Christmas.
Was it Christmas? Yeah. Hey, Miami made me mad. I'm like, come on, man. He trying to throw the football. I'm like, run, dude. Mostert is killing them, man.
They were right there.
It'd be 3rd and 1. He want to throw the football down.
Yeah. That's why I think they need to go out and get a Dalvin Cook. I know they drafted that running back.
I like Arkham. Wasn't it Arkham?
Yeah, he's a good running back.
He's
and
fast. That dude's a speedster.
He
You match
is.
that with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
They just got so much speed on that roster.
They do.
It's just if they just hope Tua can stay healthy, then
My homie that I'm doing this podcast with, he a Raiders fan. He was like, when they played Miami, he said Tyreek Hill better have 250. He was like, Jalen Waddle, I don't even know what Jalen Waddle
Jalen Waddle's go 170. Let's see. The back's about to have 120 on the ground.
Oh, man.
And the Raiders is going to be getting smoked a lot this year.
Yeah, they'll probably be that 3-14 team.
Yeah.
At least they got to play in the same stadium with Super Bowl this year for once. At least they can say there's a consolation.
Do you think McDaniels will be gone if they do go 3-14?
He need to.
I would have fired him. I wouldn't even have hired him, but
The only thing that's kind of low key bailing them out now is this whole quarterback situation.
If I'm the Raiders, I get on the phone with the Rams and I say, what do I got to do to get Sean McVay over here?
Yeah.
McVay might not go. He might retire before he does that.
And if they don't fire Sean McVay, then I'm calling Washington and I'm calling EB. You know what I'm saying? Come to the Raiders, man. You can be our head coach. Not no OC stuff. You could be our head coach over here.
I still think he has a chance to take over that job in Washington.
Oh, he's going to be the head coach. He's going to be the interim head coach by midseason. I see. When Terry McLaurin said that is a culture shift, what's that saying about Ron Rivera?
Yeah, exactly. Should he even be the head coach anymore?
That's what stood out to me.
They say, hold on. What do you mean culture shit? Well, ain't Ron Rivera the head coach?
What it sound like to me?
Trying to say the culture ain't good.
Trying to say it changed when EB got here.
I can see.
Oh no.
I can see Washington starting out like maybe like 1-5 or something like that, and then
He's
he had
out
that,
of there.
then he
Ron
had to
Rivera's
switch over.
out of there.
And then they probably be close to like 8-9 or 9-8 when it's all said and done. I can see that happening.
I see like EB's gonna be an interim coach. Maybe they don't make the playoffs, but they have a good like back end of the season where they look like they're viable, and then they be like, all right, EB, we're gonna make you the head coach. Take the interim tag off. Let's see how you do with this team. And then the next season they got higher expectations because
Hopefully they have a better quarterback.
Yeah,
because I don't know. We'll see about Sam Howell, but I'm just not sold on it.
I'm not either.
I'm just like,
I didn't like what I saw.
Okay.
I didn't like what I saw in North Carolina. So
me either, because he was really hyped up going into he was like a top 5. They're talking about like top 5 prospect, and then he fell off completely once the running backs left, because you got to remember Michael Carter and Denver's running back.
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, they were on that team, and once they left, he just completely went downhill.
Yeah. The way I feel about Sam Howell is the way I feel about Will Levis. And they said OTAs was a little rough.
Yeah,
so,
it was looking rough.
And look, all I said was, duh. Duh. You think?
I don't pay too much attention to like the OTA stuff with the quarterback, because there is, like, I seen it the other day. Somebody put out there, like, in Mahomes' first 6 practices, he threw like 7 interceptions or something like that. He was just seeing what he could get away with, though.
Then Adam Teicher. Yeah, oh god, I can't stand that.
Me either.
Adam Teicher. Oh no, he's throwing these interceptions. He might want to pump up brakes on Patrick Mahomes. Shut up, Adam Teicher.
I never have liked him.
You so doom and gloom. How did you get hired? Do you even root for the Chiefs?
He'd be rooting for him to lose, low key. Like, I hope they lose this game.
Aaron Ladd ain't even from Kansas City. He is an Atlanta Falcons fan, and he roots for the Kansas City Chiefs more than you. Jesus, I can't stand that dude. Him, Saran Petro, they all need to go. All the grumpy old men and Chiefs kids, they need to go. Got rid of one of them who was a cancer to to the radio. What was his name? Kevin, whatever his name.
Kevin Keatsman.
Yeah, they got rid of that
dude. Man, that dude's out there. That dude's crazy.
Because he owned Sports 810, and then he got it taken away from him for whatever reason. But yeah, he was always on the tear against against Andy Reid.
Yeah, that's why he got it. That's why he got it taken away, because he said that stuff about Andy Reid. They're like, nah,
Andy Reid can't manage the locker room because he's a bad father. Like, whoa, sir, what are you doing?
These radio dudes, like, most of them, I don't even pay attention to them. Like, honestly, I don't turn on 610, 810. I will occasionally listen to C-Dot. I think he's good. I actually think he's great. I don't agree with him a lot of times, but I like the dude. I think he's great.
I like the drive. I listen to Carrington. Sometimes his stuff is way out there. His takes, he's Mr. Hot Take guy. He always got some hot takes. But him and Rob got a good dynamic. I don't mind Cody and what's her name in the morning. Sometimes I watch them, but Cody Tapp sometimes gets on my damn nerves. But other than that, yeah. And I like what's her name? What's his name? Bink. I like Bink.
Darren Smith is he's okay. It's bad takes sometimes.
Yeah, I don't really care. I like Steve Walls. His partner. I like his partner, but him, yeah, there's. I don't know. I like what's the dude name? He does the morning show on 810. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. But I like that morning show on 18. They're pretty good. But other than that, a lot of them Kansas City Chief radio guys, they can go somewhere. They can go somewhere. Where I don't know. Go to another network. But We got some bad people.
And then one of the good ones retired.
Who?
Herbie. He's
I
not
know
a radio
Her-
guy, but
Yeah,
he's
Herbie Telby, he retired. He deserves it though. He's
yeah.
been doing it for a long time. So yeah, Herbie was good. Pete, I don't mind Pete Sweeney. Sometimes Pete in his OTAs, I'd be like, man, I don't trust nothing you saying right now, man.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about hot take guy? He like, oh MVS, he's going to breakout season. It's like, shut up, man. They got shorts on.
He just takes up and runs with it every time.
Yeah, he was like that when Andy Reid was at the booth. Yeah, John Ross. Oh, I don't know John Ross. He was like that last week. I said, dude, better calm down on John Ross.
And then I've noticed this too because I always watch the press conferences. They will like literally sometimes twist the words up of what's being said. So like it'll be something said about John Ross, and then somehow they'll twist that into it being said about Justin Ross. Like it was completely confusing last week.
Oh man, we might be looking at the wrong Ross. It's like,
It's like, was we looking at Antonio Callaway last offseason or whatever that dude's name we signed that played for the Giants?
I know you're talking about.
Man, I forgot his name. Played at Baylor too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, it is.
Like, we ain't looking at them dudes.
You looking at the wrong Ross, John Ross. Like, John Ross is not even going to make.
It's like he's the fastest dude there in his shorts. Of course, he's going to look good.
Yeah, t-shirt and shorts. He would be great in the flag football.
Yeah,
league.
he would.
He'd
be
the best
putting up
player on the
200
league.
yards a week.
Best player on the league, flag football league.
He'd be the flag football version of Tyreek Hill.
Let's calm down. Wait till the pads come on.
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah.
Can we wait till the pads come on, please? When they're hitting and they got to go across the middle.
Now, my favorite KC one. I watch her on TV a lot too. Haley Lewis.
I know why you like her, man. You ain't full of good time. You don't like her.
She got
analysis.
good takes. Yeah,
You don't like her analysis.
her takes are good.
Mm-hmm, I bet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's always on KSHB 41.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet. Mm-hmm. I bet you like her, huh? Her takes.
Her takes are the best.
Don't be fooled, people. I know why Ty likes her. I see why, because everybody on the timeline likes her. Even Boogie likes her. Shout out to Boogie.
I mean, how could you not like her though?
No, she's cute. She's cute. She's cute. All right, fellas. I think this is all we got today, man. Like, football season is hard to get here, man.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
The NBA Finals ain't cutting it for me.
I mean, hey, it's tied 1-1. You know what I'm saying?
It's just
Looks like Vegas about to win the Stanley Cup. You know,
You might.
y'all got to go out and celebrate that.
No,
I'll be out of town when that happens. So.
No.
no.
No, I don't celebrate nothing out here. I mean, I'll say I put out more so jokes before I even go out there and celebrate. It's a good year for Vegas.
Hey, Las Vegas Aces 6-0, baby. Woo!
I say it's a great year except for them Raiders. I don't know what they're doing.
That team is a cheat code, man.
You got to get yourself to winning them WNBA games.
Somebody got mad at me like 2 weeks ago. I think that was when the Vegas was in a different round. The Knights. I said, hey, Vegas won by a touchdown tonight. I said, I'm not talking about the Raiders. I promise you, everybody's coming up to me when I said that.
Raider Cody came after your helmet.
He was
You
coming at
didn't
me.
talk about my Raiders. I'm talking about my Raiders.
Okay, win then.
Do something.
Not hard.
We're going to
We sitting there running roulette plays on y'all field and beating y'all by 30 points. I mean, give me a reason. And then I'm not sure if y'all posted it or seen it. I think it was Ty that might have posted it. The game when it was talking about remember when Josh Jacobs had a big game against the Chiefs. I'm like, no, I remember that crappy call where all the refs were getting booed that entire time. I remember that. I remember
the game they lost.
I remember Kelsey went off for 4 touchdowns. I remember that.
I remember them losing the game.
Right.
I remember Chris Jones getting a sack that got called back. That should have been
Yeah.
called back. They was supposed to be a
And
fumble, and we probably would have
the
scored a
ref was
touchdown.
crying.
And then on the next play, when that Carl was it Carl
Shepard.
Carl Sheffers?
Yeah.
First and 10.
We was at the jackpot watching that game. I was like,
Oh, you loser! You
He
better
was
not go to your car.
after that, everything swung the other way.
You better not go to your car, Paul.
And he had the I remember Jerick McKinnon's big run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 3rd and 15 or something like that.
Oh, did y'all notice that somebody didn't show up to the White House?
Yep.
Mr. Clyde Edwards.
He went at the parade. He went at the White House.
Interesting. Wonder if he had another runway to run.
Must be a runway off his team. The runway himself into
somebody's in there, Phil. No, I'm just let me stop starting stuff. I don't want to be starting no stuff. All right, man. Let's go get a shout out to the sponsor. If you look down at the bottom, you see the link emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go there, you go to the Every Morning Quarterback locker room access of all the podcasts that are under the Every Morning Quarterback umbrella. They got a Patriots one, a Chargers one, a 49ers one, and they got us, Arrowhead Chief Podcast. If you click on the banner, you'll see all of our episodes, the recent ones and the past ones. Go ahead and check them out. Also, check out their podcast. They got a podcast where they talk about everything league-wide. They also have betting tips. They talk about college football. So shout out to all those guys over there Every Morning Quarterback. And whatever streaming platform that you use, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is available on there, whether it be Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Breaker, Anchor. If you use any of those or, whatever streaming platform that you use to listen to your podcast, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is on there. And whatever social media platform that you use, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is on there too. AH Chief Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Check us out. We'll follow you and follow you back. If you have any feedback, you want to talk about anything, you want us to talk about anything on the show, hit us up. We are listening because we are not Hollywood over here. We are fans just like you, and we just want to give you the best Chief content that you guys deserve. So go ahead and hit us up, and we will hit you back. But make sure to talk to us nice and normal. Like we always say, we're going to send Ty to your doorstep and slap you right in your face. Drive-by slappings. That's what we doing. I'm just playing. We show up like DoorDash, baby, with instant slaps. Pow! No, but seriously, definitely hit us up, man. We always like the interaction with the fans, so hit us up, man, for sure. All right, fellas. Well, another good show, another good conversation. Till next week, hopefully, we got some news to talk about. Hope y'all have a good rest of y'all week, man. And we are gone.